for the Heat and Gist Band. Then there's also some other team I saw that is Amka Real Property Dealers. They are also putting on something to do with the company sponsored shirts. But that game yesterday ended in favor of Gist Band, as the Heat events could not cope with, I think, when not pressure, not Edgar, not that. Sometimes there are mistakes that cost us when you have played a good game. Yesterday, the Heat events were playing a very, very good game. They had the most tries on goal, but the Heat events were a bit upfield. They are playing up front, yeah. They are playing this forward football, but the Heat events had now a challenge to cope up with these long passes that the Heat was using. When you look at players like Abot this side in the left back, when you look at Bruno in the midfield for the Heat, I mean for Gist Band, the Heat could not cope up with those long passes, especially Hillary did something that would change the style of play for the Heat. Hillary was dribbling at the same time trying to shoot, so they could not cope up. They had goalkeeper Leno. Leno was much of this player of the match, but he could not win that simply because he was outplayed by Swiffer. There is a girl called Swiffer. She's a very versatile girl. She would dodge, she would shoot. You need a girl for corporate? Yeah, we have lots of girls here in town who are talented. It's okay. If you want a scorer, there's a girl. I can
defend, of course.
Yeah, there's a girl who plays at Gist Band. She's called Kevin De Brand. There's also another. No. She's not registered in corporate. This is Green Park Premier League. You can get that one. Away from that, we saw pictures of Enono. You know Enono, owned by one of the brothers of Sam.
That's Kamkama.
Yeah, Mr. Kamkama. Last evening he was on the bench. He almost collapsed due
that
to
guy
pressure.
also supports money, by the way.
Yeah. Abagiga put up a very big challenge for him. Yeah, there's a team called Abagiga comprising of Mbine, Mbine Sports. They have now introduced. There's a player called Walcott. That's the team. Yeah, that's the team. That's Abagiga. You notify that lawyer there. There's a lawyer there, one of your friends, EDGAR. That's Mbine, and they have introduced 2 Somalis and 1 Congolese. And these guys are playing some of the toughest games on field, but they were over fouling. Yeah. They could foul here and there. I can guarantee Hamim was almost beaten to pulp. Kama could not believe his eyes as he had players like Zayed. You know Zayed, the coach of Mbara City, he was in goal. You could not accept. But anyway, that's the story about the Green Park Premier League. However, that game ended in favor of Enono. Away from that, EDGAR, we have seen a collection of teams for the Uganda Cup 50th time, the round of 64, where the Premier League, big league teams come in to join the teams from the lower divisions, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and at times we normally have these private teams which are not registered in the teams which are not registered in FUFA ranks. Yeah, you can have your own team, you register it, but when it comes to Uganda Cup, you are entitled to play even if it's not licensed in FUFA ranks. Yeah, that means you can pay for it, something like 300 for registration fee, then you participate in this league. When you happen to qualify, when you happen to qualify and you go through, you can as well win and you're allowed. We have had a collection of those fixtures, but I can guarantee you that Mbara City was actually drawn to play Synergy in Buganda. That is Buganda region, as we have had different teams they're going to travel. Teams like Ondoparaka is coming this side for the second time in 2 different seasons. The other time they played Bugamba FC very deep in Bugamba here in Rwampara, but this time they are going very deep. That is to Chambura. They are playing Chambura Rastas, one of the teams that has actually resurrected this year, the last year, simply because its owner, that coach, he was actually imprisoned for some time. When he came back, he said the dream cannot die. He decided to revive that team. Away from that, we have had also teams from the Western region. EDGAR can guarantee you that we only have 6 teams which have made it to the round of 64, and that is Mbara City Football Club, then Chigezi Homeboys, we also have Karoka Runji, Bushanyi Veterans, as well as Rugarama FC and Chambula Rastas. When you see those draws or the fixtures that we have actually had, it's very, very difficult for these teams to go through. Very difficult. You cannot beat Chambara Stars and you beat Ondo Paraka. You cannot be Bushenyi Veterans and
Mbarara City can beat Sinners.
Yeah, Mbarara City can beat Sinaji, but what comes next at the round of 16? You will have to find yourself tying it up with the likes of Gaddafi, the likes of Viper. You have failed to win games at home, and you will now win games away from that. Because it's EDGAR, the Super League teams or the big league teams are meant to travel when it comes to Uganda Cup, because the federation values these lower level teams as they are not privileged, they are not financially stable to travel up. You must find them at home. Elsewhere, teams like URA were drawn. Teams like URA were, and KCC, by the way, KCC was drawn to play Adminia. EDGAR, KCC is facing that challenge of smaller clubs. Smaller clubs are challenging. Bull FC was drawn to play Simba, and Busoga United was meant to play Bushenyi Veterans. That is where the problem is. So Busoga traveling to Bushenyi and they pick a point. That would be one of the toughest games, EDGAR, I want you to look out for. Whereas UPDF was drawn to play Pajule Lions. There are some of the teams, EDGAR, that I have never heard of in this.
What teams are there?
Okay. Away from that, EDGAR, we should not take a lot of time on those fixtures, as well as having an update from the Western Regional League. We have had some results up from the weekend. EDGAR, we had Western Regional League played on 2 different days. That was match day 41, that is Saturday and Sunday. EDGAR, I can guarantee you that some of the teams that were unbeaten in the first round are now beaten. Rugarama was beaten for the first time this season. Bushenyi Veterans also drew another time, because Bushenyi Veterans is unbeaten still, whereas Bunyaruguru is also unbeaten within the Western Region League. I can tell you that your team, EDGAR, you said you come from Bushenyi, right? Hey, this time you were...
Me, I was pushed.
This time you were pushed far away from... This time you were pushed far away from Bushenyi. Ruare FC beat Rugarama for the first time in the season, 1-0, and Chambara has also beat Rushere Hospital.
You go with By the way, I want to go there.
By the way, EDGAR, you should revive your place. You should revive your area. By you starting... EDGAR, infrastructure will actually go hand in hand with football development in your area. You can start a small team. EDGAR, it starts small in the 5th division. In 1 year, you get promoted to the 5th division. Yes, EDGAR, you can do that. EDGAR, at the village level. EDGAR, at the village level, you start small. You start playing football. It's a matter of getting ajaze and a few soccer boots and some poor quality balls.
Poor quality is that?
Yes, poor quality for the village level. When you get promoted, yes, but they don't know the quality of.
They know.
They don't. No, EDGAR. Away from that, we have also had the youth football challenge, the Chenga Cup. Actually, the Chenga Cup is starting today at Mbara High School. They will be using Mbara High School playground. This is specifically the under 13. And you know, when we talk about young under 13 in this region, we know we are going to have Mbara Sports Academy. Obviously, we are going to have the Lion Sports Academy in Tungamo, and we are going to have Mbara Junior team, that is Coach Faizo. But I can tell you that the committee selected to organize and reorganize this has been actually selected. You can see it up there from the list, but there are names which cannot miss on that list. Coach Salim Twaha will be the champion in human resource officiation, as well as fields coordinator Mr. Ronald Alonso. Those are the names that cannot fail to be mentioned on the list when we talk about youth football. These are the names that have been here for the last 10 plus years, trying to evolve, trying to change the approach of Uganda's football, starting with the kids, EDGAR. Those 2 names should be given credit. So away from that, we shall have games, and the Chenga National Championship 2023 at Mbara High School will be in groups. Like Group A, we have KC Sparta 09 Academy. We also have Shalom Eagles Soccer Academy, Lugazi Soccer Academy, Benjamin CM Football Academy. As we can see, Group B, we have Mbara Sports Academy, like I told you, Deratore Football Academy, Alois Soccer Academy, Entebbe Red Stars, and in Group C we have Alpha Football Academy. This is one of the academies that we have had producing some quality players. Excel Athletics Academy, Wolf Soccer, this is new, Summer Kids Soccer Academy, and in Group D we have Sokolo Football Club, Kick It Soccer Academy, Chigezi Soccer Academy. This is part of Chigezi Football Club, Chigezi FC. No, not Chigezi FC, but Chigezi SC Football Club. Therefore, it's different from Chigezi Homeboys. Yeah, we have Friends of Soccer. It has been here for quite some time, and we also have in Group E, Msinji Soccer Academy, then El Cambio. El Cambio is one of the academies that has actually had chances of taking players to Spain, especially during that Barcelona-Madrid game. We have had some boys represent us. Good Hope Sports Academy, Lion Sports Academy, this comes from Ntungamo, and that name is familiar, especially when it comes to Mr. Alonso Ronald. Group F, we have Kampala Galaxy Football Club, Garuga Soccer Club. This one is also new. It has actually 3 years down the road coming in at Garuga. You know, they are constructing another football structure at Garuga. Yeah, we also have that standard structure coming up. Ruakabengo Soccer Academy, this is coming from somewhere around Kabale, and Destiny Soccer Academy from Lida all that way. That will be the grouping of the young kids under 13 specifically. Remember the games of the Chenga Soccer Cup. This is 2023. It's supposed to actually be 2023, but beginning at Mbara High School grounds, Edgar. Away from that, I can take you to the AFCON. We had some action last evening, as we have seen results coming in from different teams. Actually, different small teams have made it tough for the bigger ones, like I had warned you last evening. So some of the big names in African football, like El Hadji Diofu, was present to gear up some of his younger friends and younger.
But Senegal performed well.
Senegal performed well. We cannot put away that. But we have seen different big shots here. Joe Epale, all these people have been there. If you remember Joe Epale of Cameroon, he's one of the legends that we have in African football. So Onana had a chance to meet El Hadji Diofu. If Abudulisa can play those pictures, El Hadji Diofu, Onana
had a chance over El Hadji Diouf had a chance to meet the Manchester United player.
No, Onana had that. But El Hadji Diouf has been meeting these Manchester United players.
But you remember when he was at Liverpool? It's a chance.
You know what he did to you, especially in that Liverpool Man United game. Edgar.
Diouf na manyona nechari na alaba.
But Diouf knows
players some of those.
If we can have the pictures of El Hadji Diouf
to see how Diouf was excited to meet Onana.
No, how Onana was excited to meet Diouf. Edgar, we can
That's it, you see.
Who is excited now? Look at that calmness. Edgar, I will not forgive you. The whole world will not forgive you for that analysis. Away from that, we have seen El Hadji Diouf meeting several other players and encouraging them, actually giving them some tips. That's Aliou the Senegalese coach. They were actually in one of the teams that shocked the world. That is in France 2002. That game will not be forgotten.
That guy is a legend. That guy is a champion.
El Hadji Diouf is a legend. You have to trust me. El Hadji Diouf has been one of our best. Away from that, that is the pictures you saw there. Are some of the pictures from Ismail Watenga Academy and Foundation that he just decided to start in Mbale. Edgar, we have had players who play from Europe, but when they come back here, they just don't change the environment at home. But this is Ismail Watenga. Besides, you can see Becky Cynthia Nachmela, one of our sports journalists in Uganda Sports Journalists Association, that is USPA, Uganda Sports Press Association. She is one of the patrons of that academy and that foundation. Ismail has brought some money home. He has decided to construct a football academy as well as starting a foundation that helps the needy, the less privileged people. This time he donated the likes of mattresses, cooking utensils like those percolators, flat irons, bunches of matoke, clothes. Take it to all home needs. Ishmael Watenga Foundation is now fully functional in Mbale, and he has actually helped thousands of people. That is what we say when these people go away. Now I'm now talking to Akwandano because soon he will be joining the likes of West Ham, Aston Villa. He should come back home, help the Isinjiro people, support them.
But you're not the one to tell him.
No. We are just passing a message. These people have to learn. EDGAR, players have changed their background. Sadio Mane.
Not everyone.
We are giving examples. These ones we can see as our idols. EDGAR, Sadio Mane last week, before he came for AFCON, after his wedding, he decided to construct 2 stadia. One of them is fully complete in his own area. We are trying to tell these people, when you go outside Uganda, when you get on board with the likes of the big shots in European leagues, make sure you come back and you invest some money and you help your communities. But EDGAR, we have had EDGAR, it's not a must, but we have had these players who have had big names.
So basically, what big thing have you done for these people before they join those big shots?
EDGAR,
those big people.
EDGAR, some of these players have been helped by the federation, by the Ministry of Sports, especially when it comes to scouting and promoting action.
For those that have been helped, like so, will of course come back.
Okay, EDGAR, we really have to talk about this. We need to see these examples. We have had the likes of Bone Bingana. You know Bone Bingana? He's one of the products from here in Mbarara. He went to Sweden, played football. He went to Scotland, played football, went to France, played football. But when he came back, EDGAR, he was here during the last outing of the corporate club. He could not even donate 10 balls, but man was dressed in an attire of over 10 million here. He was having one of the most expensive phones here, about 15 million. Somebody has it on, but he could not even buy just anyway, away from that, EDGAR, okay, that's true, EDGAR, when it comes
and our characters are different, because even here in Uganda we have people, it does not necessarily mean soccer. We have people that are givers, we have those that are receivers, and we have those that are actually receivers but even not givers. There are those that are completely different. So basically it's all about, because it's not only money that is earning a lot of money in Senegal.
True.
Okay. True. But the things he's doing are quite different. Salah, I happened to meet a guy who was actually staying around, and he told me in Egypt he stays in the same area with Salah. Yeah. He told me things that Salah has done for his people, and these people had the likes of Mido. What did they do? And the Midos were playing in the Premier League when money was still money. However much AKAMPA tunganchi, but they didn't. So it's basically different. What did Diouf do in Senegal that is remembered?
Diouf actually, he is one of the people that is still supporting the education of all the children under the age of 13 in Senegal, supporting them with scholastic materials and paying for them a quota.
What did Duff do?
Damien Duff actually had problems, especially with the French government, and he was actually made to pay fines, which were, I think we need to talk about also that one. We have had players who have had problems with the foreign governments, especially when it comes to behavior, conduct, and they are meant to be imprisoned. Some of them meant to pay huge fines. Damien Duff is one of the players who was meant to pay huge amounts in compensation for the French wife that he had. The likes of those people are
we have to somewhere request them to help, but at the same time, they are.
We're not saying it's a must, EDGAR, but we are saying at least they should learn from these examples. We have some highlights coming in from the Senegal game. You should have seen how Pape was too composed. The Senegal game, we have those highlights coming in up there, as Senegal was also one of the best performers of the day. In fact, when we talk about the results, the AFCON results yesterday, Senegal beat Gambia 3-0. That was part of the game. Those are the highlights that you can see. You should have seen how Pape was composed, EDGAR. Sadio Mane is inspiring most of the guys. You can look at that hairstyle. That's the Sadio Mane cut. Sadio Mane, however, is one of the inspirers of this nation, because lots of young boys are actually taking his side. They're actually taking his style of celebration, the style of play. Everybody's inspired by Sadio Mane. You can look at that celebration. That's Sadio Mane trademark celebration. Anyway, Senegal beat the Gambia 3-0, and in Group D, Algeria drew with Angola. Can you imagine? This is what we are talking about. Some of these teams that come as underdogs, they are now shocking us, especially when it comes to these other big names that have been on the chart in Africa as football powerhouses. They are now struggling. You saw how Cameroon struggled. Later in the evening, Cameroon struggled with Onana Bebe conceding the third goal in less than 16 hours, EDGAR. He becomes the first player, the first goalkeeper to play 2 games in 16 hours. He becomes also the first goalkeeper to concede 3 goals in less than 16 hours.
And the first goalkeeper to travel that distance.
EDGAR, traveling in a private jet cannot
No, I'm talking about the length of the...
Guinea, with a red card, managed to stay afloat, to stay at top of their game after scoring first against Cameroon. By the way, Guinea scored first against Cameroon, and Cameroon was struggling to beat that 10-man Guinea, EDGAR. That's the story of Africa. That's the African football, we can say. Away from that, EDGAR, as we end up, we really need to take this example. When AFCON 2027 comes back here to Uganda, EDGAR, we need to learn. There are some things we need to learn. Today, I was watching a clip. Some of the government initiatives taken to clean up Kampala, they are washing roads, EDGAR, using a brush and hose pipe to water, EDGAR. I can tell you, we need to learn. These are things that we are supposed to be way from that level, EDGAR. We don't need visitors, as we don't need to wait for visitors to come so that we can start cleaning up. No, EDGAR. We have the FA Cup, coming up, round 3, as Wolves is going to take on Brentford, Birmingham City is taking on Hull City, Bolton Wanderers is taking on Luton Town, Bristol City is taking on West Ham, and Estag is taking on Newport. That's round 3. In the French League 1, we have one game actually, but it was actually to be postponed. That is Toulouse taking on Metz, and that game, because I think it's about the weather, that's why they are postponing that game. In Serie A, Juventus is taking on Sassuolo, as well as in the Dutch Eredivisie, AZ Alkmaar is taking on Quick Boys, and we wait for the results. Away from that, Copa del Rey, we have Getafe taking on Sevilla, Athletic Club taking on Deportivo Alves.
Thank you very much, Jasper. He will be, as usual, coming back at 3 p.m. to give you what exactly is happening in the world of sports broadly. Apparently, we are going to take a break. When we return, the Morning Blaze continues. Don't go away.